consume them.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is a movie that was a miracle that came out due to some unfortunate situations passing by, and another miracle for it actually being good. The movie, directed by Ryan Coogler, the same one as the first one, and it follows the results of Wakanda being in trouble due to the death of Black Panther and having conflict with the outside world, and also possible danger due to the equally as powerful Namor and his water tribe. Meanwhile, looking for another Black Panther to take up the throne. As I said before, this movie coming out was a miracle because of not only conflict with the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman, while the script had to be reworked because of the situation, to the recast T'Challa hashtag going around, to some production delays because the no vaccine forever and some injuries. I think the movie has some issues, but spoiler alert, the movie was good. I think a lot of it has to do with the directing because it was extremely well done, with the cinematography and lighting being excellent for a studio with the most bland cinematography and lighting. I'm a sucker for good coloring, which is why I give this a pass. I think the sound design, while not being perfect, I think worked with the scenes that had no sound. Just a silence where they give a passing memory of Chadwick Boseman, showing all his past work, and really gives an impact to your tiny little Grinch heart. It makes it 3 times big. Well, unless you're a racist. Speaking of sound, the score and soundtrack was pretty good. I think I haven't heard a good score for a superhero movie since Batman had one good track that had sound. Spider-Verse. Also, the soundtrack has some bops that will make you boogie down on the dance floor alone because, man, Rihanna, why do you gotta make it depressing, man? Even with its greatness, I still prefer the 2018 soundtrack just a bit more, but don't let that fool you. It's still a great soundtrack for a superhero movie like Spider-Verse again. I think what topped both of these things for me in the movie was the acting. Surprisingly, the acting from everyone was pretty excellent. A lot of the performers felt actual, genuine emotion. It's not 10 out of 10 sometimes. You still have the same MCU acting coach on the line waiting for them to give a shitty joke. A lot of them really give it their best, especially Angela Bassett. I don't know if I said it right. Who exceeded everyone in the cast with her performance. I know it's corny as fuck when someone says, this actor should have nominated for Best Actor in the movies they nominated for is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, guys, this is why everyone bullies you guys. As much as I don't care for Oscar nominations, I can see why people would say Angela Bassett should be nominated. She was pretty good in this movie. Sindri did pretty well here as well. In the past movie, she was the main character's sidekick that had a witty comeback for everything. And because of that, she wasn't really interesting to me. Here, she really does her best and makes it genuine when she lost both her brother and mother. And oh no, spoiler, she becomes Black Panther. She seems like she was ready to become Black Panther for a while. And wow, getting to be a main hero for a movie does come with financial benefits. But I can't forget to talk about my main man, Namor. Namor was such an interesting character that they introduced that seemed ridiculous, but man, they actually made him work well and also turned those dumb stupid little wings on his legs and made it look fucking cool, and also making them a counter towards Wakanda, as they're both powerful hidden societies with weapons that can take over the world's military, really adds on to the touch. Denoche Horata did fantastic work playing this interpretation of Namor that actually makes a lot more sense than, well, this. Never mind that, I'm glad Denoche is getting more recognition for his work. It was cool to see Killmonger again, and of course he stole the whole show when he was given like 5 minutes of screen time. And while I did enjoy the character and she did good in the movie, I felt Ironheart was pretty unnecessary to the story and could have been written out. She wasn't that interesting compared to Sindri, Namor, Ramonora, and so on. But you know who was more unnecessary? Agent Ross. How did this motherfucker get a toy? Wasn't in it much, but there needed to be a white guy in the movie for the poster for China to slap his name on it. But overall, I think the characters were good. I think what was an improvement from the first movie was the special effects. I think when people think of bad computer effects, they automatically go for Black Panther for the shitty rhinos and whatever PS3 game this shit came out of. But this movie has improvements where I can see the hard work that was being worked on for a while, where a lot of the team clearly worked on it. Probably underpaid and whipped, but worked hard on it. Oh boy, some complaints that I have about this movie. Everyone's favorite part of the review, so they have an obligation to write, kill yourself. I think as other reviews of the MCU, they have the same problems over and over and over again. Humor, in short, when they tell a joke, they really have to force the joke, and sometimes characters with their own personality act like everyone else in the universe with the quips and shit. Like I said before, Ironheart wasn't as interesting as the other characters, and they tend to forget about her in the second and third act. Sometimes the movie can feel out of focus, and it sometimes kills the pacing a bit. Sometimes I wish less time was spent on Agent Ross and more time was spent on showing how Namor and how powerful his society is. Why I like Namor, he has no chance going against Killmonger, so as much as I like him, he wasn't too much of a good villain, but I can excuse it as a simple beginning for Sindri and also an introduction for the rest of the universe. Speaking of which, as much as I liked this movie and how good it was to help finish the phase that we were in the MCU, it did not help the image of the current MCU. My god, no. The MCU is in trouble right now, not financially, but mostly with like the content they're putting out not being good. Movies are being pumped out where the quality seems to be dropping and the shows are just not good and they're just fucking boring. I think it was great to see a movie with this amount of quality come out, but man, the MCU really needs to work on itself before it goes out again. Anyways, Wakanda Forever is a good movie to watch. I still think the first one is a bit better, but I can see this one's worth. I can still see the passion everyone had for this movie. There's not a lot of superhero movies I can say that as of recent, but give it a watch if you want. Unless you watch videos like these. What is this thumbnail? I'm giving Wakanda Forever a 7 out of 10. The working ways.